Hey guys, what's going on? Today we're going to go over how to age paper, the dry method, as I like to call it. Everybody is pretty familiar with aging it with coffee or tea by doing a bath, and I just don't feel like doing that. It takes too damn long. This can be done in about a minute, maybe 2 minutes per page, and if you've got a heat gun, which I do, you're ready to go in less than 3 minutes per page. So you can get a lot of pages done very, very quickly. The first thing you're going to need is what your starting paper is going to be. I always make sure I'm working with latex gloves or any kind of covering because, as you can see, it gets on your hands no matter what you do. And what I'm using to dye it is actually wood sheen. Basically, it's this crap that you use to stain wood, quote unquote. You can buy it at Home Depot or whatever, but it stains your hands. You don't want it on your hands, so wear gloves. I also prefer to start with parchment paper when I'm doing antique work because it just already starts off looking old, so it minimizes the work that I got to do. This is 24 pounds. You can get the cardstock version if you want. It's pretty thin, and as you can see, it's a little porous. You hold it up to the light, you can see light shines through. I like that, though. We're going to see how it goes. So hopefully it's thick enough to do this Necronomicon Ex Mortis that I'm working on. So as you can see, there's a couple of pages here. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take the piece of paper and you crumple it up. After you've drawn on it or printed on it, you can actually wait and print when you're done. It's really kind of up to you. And you unfold it. And now you're going to want to steady it. So I just take the edge and I'll just run it over the edge, pull it tight, just work it out. Just straightens it out a little bit. If you have two hands, it'll go a lot smoother. So, as you can see, that's going to create the wrinkles and the crinkles. Once you're done with that, you pick the side that you think will be the best starting point. Take a sponge, it doesn't matter what kind, but use the porous end of it. Take the wood sheen, squeegee up a little bit, get it on the sponge, and once it's on the sponge, just start, move in a little bit here, just start dabbing it on. I like to work from the outside in so that it's thicker on the outside, and then you can slowly work your way in. As you can see right away, and we kind of want to smear that off a little bit. So right away, you're getting a little bit of aging happening right off the bat. Now keep in mind, you don't have to go all the way to the edges because you're probably going to manipulate those, burn those off, cut those, sand them, whatever, because you're not going to have perfectly straight edges. But just do that over the entire sheet. Now, if you do from the outside in edges, you're going to get something that looks a little bit like this. This is what I'm going to do stylistically for the Necronomicon because it's going to give me the most character and preserve the coloring in the middle when I get those pages done. So I'm going to mostly be doing it that way. Something a little more intense, a full page, but not quite as intense. It's a little bit more Indiana Jones-esque. Gives you something like this. If you want to go full-blown and just really overdo it to the nth degree, if you do the whole page, you get something as dirty as this. This works really well if you're doing like pirate map and thing like that. Very, very little of the original page is there, but because it's translucent, you get the character from the page. So remember, the goal is to not make streaks. You can actually go ahead and squeegee it onto the whole thing. And then what you want to do is just dab. You want to pull initially, and while it's still wet, go back in and dab so you get the character of the sponge into it. You don't want streaks. And then really quickly, if you're really intense like this, hit it with the heat gun a little bit. But it's dry and ready to go in a matter of minutes, and you just move on to your next page. So whether you're using a light version of it, a medium version of it, or extremely intense version of it, this is going to add weight to your page, this is going to add character to your page, it's going to add a little bit of flopsiness, and it's going to give you more of that look you're going for. And the best part is we didn't have to dunk it in water, and we didn't have to really dry it. And if you don't have a heat gun, throw it on something flat like foam or whatever, or leave it on the cutting board. In a couple minutes, it's dry. If you're double-siding it, I would recommend letting one side dry before you flip it, only because it'll stain your drying mat. Now I gotta go clean this again. But that's a quick 5-minute video on how to age your paper. It's all about what you start with, and with a couple of simple tools, you get it in and out without much of a problem. This is an alternative to the bath technique, so I hope it works out for some people. If you try other materials other than the wood sheen, post it, let me know, tag me in the video. I'd love to see alternate versions.